Hi, welcome to the Andrew Buckle book review of Police Action. This is part of a series of Atlas Comics Library from Fantagraphics. This has got 230 pages. I paid about 36 quid for it. I got this via eBay. Obviously, property copies can be found on Amazon, etc. So this one, I think is absolutely great. Hardback, and it includes Police Action 1 to 7, as well as an issue of Police Badge, which is pretty good. 8 superb issues all the way through this, all from the 1950s. So let's go for the book. This one is just a great hardback with some great stories. And there's Police Action there, number 5. And also you can see there, comprising all 7 issues of Police Action, as well as a sole issue of Police Badge 479. And you see there, 1954, and also through to 1955. I love the fact the contents has got, you can see it's 5 issues, 5 stories in each issue. Generally also, one of the stories is just a 2 parts, so text written story, not obviously a comic book. So you've got there Police Action again, all the way through to the Police Badge there. And the great thing about this is that the character seems to be like the Human Torch. And there's a comment here saying about why hasn't it been retconned into becoming an original Human Torch story? Perhaps that would happen at some point. But still, this is just a great essay. Yet another one from Michael J. Vasillo. I would love to see all these collected into a huge book about Timely and Atlas. Really needs to be a huge volume of that sort of thing, I think, and also including obviously all the other type of genres that they produce. It also would be an amazing history of comics from the 1940s and 1950s as well. Anyway, onto this. This is just great. Lots and lots of information about the pulps, also digests. You can see a whole range, obviously, the covers. Doesn't include all of them, but I think it just includes a fair amount. So these sort of things. 6 examples of Martin Goodman's 40-title venture into crime paperbacks. So you've got loads. I've never seen any of these. Absolutely never seen any of them. Comic Marts, they probably do turn up occasionally. Probably very rare in the UK anyway. And you can see some there. National Detective, 10 True Crime, and also some other ones. Obviously, not all from Timely or Atlas, though those ones are Official True Crime, 7 Dead Men, etc. Had so many titles like that. Now, they're not included in these. And also you've got their Ideal Comics. Now, I had a copy of that one time. I think it was The Witness. I think The Witness, isn't it? Book length, crime novels, etc. And also you've got some more there. Gang World, Dead Giveaway. Lots and lots of information. Really worth checking out. And I love the best bit about it. At the end, he talks about Police Action that was in the Atlas comics from the 1970s. I had copies of that. Absolutely brilliant. So it was nice that he obviously title again. So Police Action, issue 1. The restoration is absolutely superb from Alan Harvey. I just think this is just absolutely amazing. Really done a great job. Riot Squad, you can see the quality there. It hasn't done it too heavy, so it's not sort of completely removed. It's not like the omnibus editions that we get really cleaned up, slick, and all that sort of thing. This looks like really nice quality comics from the 1950s. Obviously, no brown pages or anything like that. These have been nicely cleaned up, but not in a bad way at all. They're great. Now, lots of different artists in here. I think this one says here, Police Action number 1. It's got down the side there. Robert Q. Sale here. And also it's got a little job code as well. They always generally have that. But the stories were a mix. This one's Riot Squad. But you've also got stories set in various prisons. You've got stories set in London, set in Paris, and so on. The artwork often was quite crude, very violent at times. Often, obviously, the stories fairly sort of like follow the same sort of thing. Set up, obviously the criminal is in sentence. By the end, he meets his fate or her fate, etc. And it's, like I say, generally a very violent end. You can see there with all the various sound effects there, all rap, rat, tat, big bang, bang, all that sort of stuff. Homicide, okay, another story again. You can see obviously at the point, talk to the man, Roscoe, answer him, etc. His mouth was full of cheese. Anyway. And you got there, obviously, shooting yet more people. And again, they meet their fate at the end. The Perfect Crime. This one set in Paris. Paris, a woman's shrill cries brought, see, 2 policemen there. That's a good story as well. Really, really nice. And the first day, obviously, a cop goes out on his first day. Fred Baker was growing up in Hell's Kitchen. Obviously, Daredevil, maybe knew Murdoch, Matt Murdock. And you can see that one is by Gene Colan. So that's a connection, obviously, with Daredevil as well. I didn't actually think that when I was just doing that. However, on to the next one. This is issue 2. And you can see the price. What was the price? 10 cents. Now, I don't know if these ones turned up in the UK. Possibly they did. Maybe they would have put, I'm not certain. But also, of course, we had UK ones quite often, so they would reprint maybe black and white or something. So maybe some of these stories have been brought out in the UK. I don't know. But if they had, probably be a few changes. I'm certain they always. The Fugitive. Obviously, some were set in prisons. So you had various people. Obviously, the eyes, obviously, Bully Boy stealing various things there. Again, will meet a horrible fate at the end. Yes, he does. Over the Wall, obviously, there, the prison, they're obviously trying to escape from prison. You can guarantee, of course. Anyway, Hired Hood, some boxing. So not only that, whole range. There's also jungle stories in this. They threw the kitchen sink into these stories, I think. But they were great. This one's D9 something. Oh, Manny Banks. Not familiar with Manny Banks. So artwork's absolutely fine, perfectly reasonable. And No Escape. And the thing is, I like about this, it's not beautiful art sometimes, but you can follow the story. And that's the great thing about these things. I think that you can sort of you can see what's happening there. Again, meeting his fate there. Crime Does Not Pay. That story. No Escape. So you got there, and this is obviously set somewhere with police chasing a car, rushing off there. And this is issue 3, I think, isn't it? Actually, that's weird. Can't. Okay, I can't see the number on that, which is very, very odd. Obviously, it was the May issue, Police Action. Obviously, Atlas there, but not a number. That was a bit of an oversight, wasn't it? Who missed that off? The Mobster. Got a mobster story. And the great thing about these books, I think, is this as well. I love that they include the ads. Just brilliant. Roadblock. Yeah, again, some more violence there at the first scene. And a text story as well. The Small Black Bag. I don't know who wrote these. Sometimes they were quite big writers, so quite often oh, this one's lovely. I really like this one. A French one, which I think is great. Jewels of Death. Is it a French one or was it in London? No, London. That's the London one. There was a French one. Okay. It's not London that I'm familiar with. Anyway, obviously this is Victorian period. That's what I think. Obviously fog. You have to have some fog. And obviously there's a dog as well in the story. And yet another prison break story. You obviously got the sound effects again. And a watch as well. This one, a lifetime chronological wristwatch. Only £4.98. On to the next one. Oh, a live toy circus with performing chameleon, free. However, it's only $1. You get a whole list of things. You get cage on wheels, tightrope, ringmaster with whip, the whole thing, Sweet Revenge, and then Man in Black. This one obviously set, I don't know when, but clearly Louisiana maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing on that. Tough guy. Lovely stories. Of course, it's the usual one. The kids see some people, there's kids beating up other people. They then, of course, go and play act to do that and think that these people are wonderful, that they can get what they want. Of course, does it end? On to the next story. Trapped. One set in a film studio. It's a whole mix. And also 3D He-Man. You can become an amazing new, etc., etc. And on to the next story, which is The Specialists. This one is AM, early hours of May 14th, 1937. A bit weird. Just go backwards and forwards in time. Some of the stories set in the 19th century. And then you've got this, another one where you can virtually guarantee straight away that this guy is a bit dodgy. And I'm not certain, unfortunately, who the artist was for this, because they don't always include the artist, which is very, very odd. Still. Oh, another prison one. The Hostage. That looks pretty brutal, doesn't it? And again, some issues they seem to completely ignore putting the artist. Police Action number 6. And this one again, another one. Obviously, you've got these, let's split up the dough. This place is empty, etc., etc. And The World Within. Story there. The Con Who Went Straight. And on to another story. Five Finger. Well, that looks a bit odd, that one. Oh, obviously, I can guess what that one's about. That one must be in, yes, Sicily. Rat Hole. Another one story there. Trusty, another prison one. So you can see there's a mix of stories. They're not hideout. There is actually one that's a political one. Oh, here it is. I knew I'd find it somewhere. It is the political one. Slightly odd story, this one. The world's largest theft. This one, it began in the late 1940s, 1945, when three men of varied nationality, but with the same, etc. It's good. Good little story. Sort of one that actually probably would fit more in a war comic, but still, they included it here. The Perfect Alibi. Actually, that one even looks more like a Western, doesn't it, at that point? Police action. If it weren't for the brilliant, daring police action, in this case, over 40-something. Then we're on to Police Badge 479. And at the start, there's a mention that this, maybe, of course, retrofitted, would be Human Torch, the original Human Torch. There goes, of course, the Human Torch was a copper. So you got the story. Jim Hudson, he looks very similar to him. That's very true. Very hard when you say artwork where the person looks, but still, the Rookie Cop. You got that story there, and that's Don Heck, good old Don Heck, of course, who went on to Avengers and Iron Man and tons of other things as well. And he produced lots and lots of. I'm surprised they haven't brought out an artist edition of Don Heck yet, or even a Marvel collection of Don Heck's work. Really surprised. That baffles me why they haven't done that. Police Badge, Night Rain, 479 there. It was raining hard. You couldn't tell actually. Oh, it's not much. And Calling All Cars you got there. And that, I think, is near enough of the final story. So you've got 8 issues, lots and lots of stories. So it's probably about 40 odd. Well, obviously, if you comic book one's probably about, so it's 28, 29 or 30 or so stories there. I think they're great. Lots of Joe Maneely as well. Oh, that's a bit strange. I just, did they? Okay. Just the artwork, just there. Joe Maneely there, obviously. Must be Joe Maneely, isn't it? Again, they didn't put. That's so odd. Normally, Joe Maneely, whenever he does it, there's always Joe Maneely in there. That definitely is Joe Maneely. And an advert at the back. This one has got, and I assume, let's just quickly turn to the final back. Yes, it has. You've got, of course, there the creators as well. The weird thing about this, and I was surprised, and maybe there's a reason, and I'm quite certain there is an obvious reason. Where's Don Heck in here? Don Heck seems to have been forgotten about. Joe Maneely's been forgotten about. Gene Colan has been forgotten about. I guess because they're the big names. They are the big names, of course, that they didn't put them in. But I'm just surprised. Why not just include a small little section about them? But it's just, there's no rhyme nor reason why they need to do that. But you can see, I always love reading these. These are always just great. I'm always very, it'd be nice to have a little picture. Obviously, if available, etc., of course. Obviously, some of these people, probably very little information is known about them. Here, like Manny Banks, who I've never heard of. Penciled and inked primarily for Marvel and Atlas. And it says also for Harwell Publications, Lev Gleason and Story Comics, ones I must admit not familiar with. And obviously, Lev Gleason I am. Atlas work consisting of 7 stories in 1954. Police Action, Astonishing, Journey into Mystery, Justice Comics is another one that possibly could be done. And Marvel Tales and Uncanny Tales. Not much is known about his career or biography. So, of course, sometimes probably I'm expecting a bit too much to have pictures as well. But it would be nice. But obviously not always possible. But wow, what an absolutely brilliant book. I love this again. I love it. I'm just going to show you the other ones because these ones are great. There's the war one. This one, love it. So I love them all. This one, I really love this one, Venus. And this one, Days of the Rocket. Now, actually, I suppose one thing, I noticed on 1 or 2 of them, they've got a number volume 1. Obviously, since they've done all of Police Action and also the Police Badge, there isn't the volume 1 there. I guess that's the reasoning. But hopefully there will be some more crime ones. Though I notice online when people put in comments saying, oh, I don't particularly like crime ones, they probably, people prefer horror, maybe science fiction. Everyone will have different tastes. But these ones I think are really good. And I hope they bring out some more crime ones. Of course, I hope they bring out more war ones as well as many others. They really did love the word action. There was like Navy action and many other those sort of ones, I think. So police action, really worth checking out. Are you going to get it? You're going to look for that one, or are you going to pass that one? Pass that one by. And of course, maybe there's some human ones coming fairly soon. I don't know the exact order. Obviously, you can find out, obviously, online, the order of the next couple of issues. There's quite a few coming out, I assume, in the next couple of months. So this one, are you going to get it? Are you going to buy this one? Or have you bought any of the others? Have you really liked the series? Or are you going to, you're passing that, not really into the 1950s? And I can understand that. It's not for everyone, the 1950s comics. I think it's just great that Fantagraphics have been bringing these out. I wish they'd bring them out quicker, obviously, but obviously there's only so much time that people involved can produce these books. So I can perfectly understand that they're not going to come out at the relentlessness as, say, omnibus collections. The omnibus collections seem to have about 50 of them every month. These a lot slower, but I appreciate each and every one that comes out. So it's just absolutely great. I love this one. I look forward to, I say, other ones as well. A like or dislike, always appreciated. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Always doing lots of videos about eBay. Usual thing that I'm moaning about. And also comics, of course, books, and much, much more. Bye.